Injury-wise, the guys that did not participate, Joe Noteboom and Tyler Higbee. Joe with his foot, Tyler with his shoulder. Brian Allen was sick. We expect him back tomorrow. Rob Havenstein with a veteran rest day. And then Jordan Fuller was limited with his ankle. Des Johnson limited with his toe. Everybody else was good.
There's reports out that you guys are planning to start Carson on Sunday. Is that accurate?
That is, yes.
And then who else, if anyone, are you planning on?
Yeah, so, what's unique about this time is that, different than the preseason, your numbers are a little bit limited. And so I don't think you can go into a game without feeling like, hey, guys are going to go play. You got to be able to continue to take steps in the right direction. The fortunate thing for us, Jordan, is that because we kind of know, all right, we're already in the playoffs and, you can look at it, all right, possible 6 or 7 seed, feel like it does offer an opportunity to be able to rest some guys. Joe Noteboom and Higbee will be out for this game because of injuries. We'll hold Matthew, we'll hold Kyron, we'll hold Cooper on offense. And then on defense, Aaron and Ernest Jones.
Anything specifically, kind of what went into the thinking with Stafford, and what are you looking forward to?
Yeah, I'm excited about Carson's opportunity. Obviously, a guy that's had a lot of success in this league. He'll have the full offensive line and some really good players around him. But I think just excited to be able to see him go compete, do his thing. But when you look at the totality of it, just balancing, what do you think is best? And there's not a perfect solution, especially when you're talking about, all right, 53 guys, 48 active. You've got the ability to flex 2 up. We do have a couple injuries. And so this was just what we felt like was the best thing, Gary. But I do think it offers an opportunity for Carson to go play, and we're excited to see him do his thing.
And in regard to Puka, would we anticipate seeing him play a limited amount, or is he going to?
Yeah, I mean, I think you'd like to be able to see him get an opportunity to do something special and then be smart with him.
For me, in terms of that 6 or 7 seed, that does create different matchups that you might have in the playoffs.
I think when you look at the projections, I think they're excellent teams regardless. There's a couple layers to it, and when you look at it, what we've just felt like was this approach is the best one for our team. You want to see guys go compete and do well, but that was what we felt like. And no matter whether, I know what could occur, there's still, everything occurs, and you think and you just don't, right? And so taking all that into consideration, didn't really feel like the other side of it, to try to do something to maintain the 6th or no, you could be the 7th, was best for our team.
How did those guys react to it? I know Matthew's he's like on the brink of a 4,000-yard passing season. And what did you learn from past years when you rested guys at the end that made you think this is good?
Well, I think what you want to understand, Greg, is, all right, are any of these guys potentially affected from some incentives? Matthew's played long enough. He's had so much success and earned all the accolades and the credit that he gets. But I think he understands the big picture, as does an Aaron and a Cooper and, these guys that have played a lot of football. And so I think they understood the approach. You always talk through those things with those guys, but you are mindful of, all right, are there potential incentives? Going back to even 2017, my first year here, when it was kind of, all right, you might be the 3 or the 4, and we felt like resting some guys. The thing that was unfortunate is Todd was the leading rusher in the league. Kareem Hunt gets 1 carry. They get him out that, so you're cognizant of all of those things and you try to manage it the best that you can. But Matthew was great about it. He understood, these guys all want to play. And that's the best thing about it. And then I think when you explain to them what my thought process and our thought process as coaches was, they're totally supportive. And we got to still have a really good week of preparation. This isn't like a preseason game. This is, hey, we got to take steps in the right direction. The guys that are playing need to be ready to go and understand, that it is about continuously improving. And then ultimately those guys that aren't do a great job leading, continuing to prepare, and then being ready to go when the wild card comes around.
Dresser back up Carson?
He will.
And then what does Carson's week look like now that he's prepared?
Yeah, you basically take over the starter reps, and we'll adjust a couple things. For tomorrow's practice today was just walk-through oriented. He took all the reps, did a really good job of managing the operation, and you can feel, even just from the first day that he was here, Jordan, I thought he did a really good job with the overall operation, the communication, just the eye contact with the other 10 guys. You could just feel if a guy's been in the huddle and had good command, and he had a really good presence, and I thought he did a nice job today.
You guys obviously kind of hit a reset. You've talked about it, that bye week. And to go 6-1, can you explain what the rookie class had to do to get you here and what they did do?
Well, there's been a lot of big-time contributions, but I think it starts with the veteran leadership, them modeling the way. But I think what they've done a great job of is really maturing faster than probably a lot of people thought, other than the people that were in this building. And they've shown maturity. They've shown an ability to accelerate their, progression. And I think that's because of the opportunities that were earned, from a lot of those guys that played a significant amount of snaps. And there's a lot of second-year players that have done a really good job, with that as well. But I think it's been a great example of team football and guys being connected and being mentally and physically tough and just continuing to be committed to a process. I mentioned to you before when we've talked, the first part of the season, we might not have been getting the results, but you could see these guys were consistent in their approach. And you felt like, okay, you get some guys back healthy. You're able to, learn from some of the mistakes. You're able to adjust some of the identities that we had offensively and defensively, use all 48 that we have up on game day. And I think it served us well. And I think there's been a lot of learning lessons, and it hasn't been perfect, but for them to just kind of keep their head down, continue to trust one another, not necessarily listen to whatever the external narrative was, is a real credit to them. And it's been as much fun as I've had in terms of the journey, that this team's been on throughout this season.
And then from the time you guys were on the plane and learned that you're in, was that different compared, because every week you're really determined 1 week at a time,
Yeah.
but all of a sudden now you got at least 2 weeks. What was the kind of...
I'll tell you what was different about it is, in your mind, you're always preparing. After we were able to handle our business against the Giants, hey, it's going to take 10 to get in. And that was the focus and concentration, and you knew what a great challenge it was going to be. And you still want to do a good job of preparing this week and putting these guys in a position to succeed. But the narrative and the approach does change a little bit because of that luxury of knowing that you've already punched your ticket. And so I don't think you ever want to count on anything else other than what you can control, because this league is crazy. I mean, you look at it last week, there was a lot of things that occurred that led to us punching a ticket, the Niners, ending up punching their, number 1 seed. There was a lot of things that went in alignment for this game to be this kind of situation for us. But it was a fun thing. You definitely always want to try to work throughout the season to be able to get an opportunity to play games after those 17 you're guaranteed. And I think the journey that we've been on to be able to get that has made it pretty rewarding for this group, and I'm really proud of them.
What do you know now about managing this situation that you didn't know in 2017?
Well, I think it's a little bit different. But what I always try to do, Jordan, is what I think is best. And there are some certain parameters around it, like I talked to you guys about, but I always try to just put both ends of it. Okay, what is to be gained, and what could potentially be at risk. And I do think it provides an opportunity for a lot of young guys to continue to get really good game experience. I am excited about watching Carson go play. And, and some other guys get opportunities otherwise. But it did feel like, those guys that we had the luxury of saying, okay, what is the best approach for them? Trusting that they'll handle that the right way and know that, hey, that's kind of just what we felt like was best. So, I don't have really anything, too much that I've gained other than I did still feel like it was the best approach going back to 17. But main thing I learned is you want to be cognizant of who's affected by possible things contractually, and are there ways of accommodating that so they're not penalized for a big picture approach for the team. And Tony does a great job of communicating that with me, and we're aware of those things, and then you can handle it the right way, the way that a good organization would.
A couple more, Ken. The Pro Bowl selections, I think, are announced tonight.
Yep.
I don't know if you know already who you guys made it, but
I do.
okay.
I'm not telling you, though.
Okay. Can you just speak generally about?
Yeah, what I'll tell you is I think it'll be cool to be able to articulate a little bit further, but I always think they're good reflections of the team. The guys that do get recognized, I think football is the greatest team sport that there is, and I think it's awesome, that we do have some guys that will be represented. I think they deserve it, and I'm really happy and proud of them, but I also think it's a reflection of their teammates and this team and some of the good things that have taken part, for this group. And so I'll look forward to, once the appropriate time is, elaborating on those specific individuals, but I do think it's a good reflection of this team.
Sean, when you go back to training camp and you think about the energy, which is the word that we all use,
Yeah.
how much of that energy do you feel like got you to where you are now?
I think it was a significant thing in regards to the personality of this team and, their work ethic, the consistent enthusiasm that they had. I think there's just been a good vibe, Maria, and that's been consistent throughout. And while it hasn't been perfect, I think the journey that we've been on has made it, you appreciate it more. And, they've done that. I think it's a credit to just the people that you're around, whether it be the players. I've mentioned, time in and time out, how proud and how much I love working with this coaching staff. And so I think that's been a really, I think of a lot of the things that have been right about this group and that have made it enjoyable. I think, the energy is certainly one of the things that stands out to me.
Get to in the past a little bit about how we didn't really know what Matthew was going through with that elbow injury. What did you learn about him, the way he played through that?
Yeah, I think what you learn is, whether it's the elbow, the thumb, this guy's as mentally and as physically tough as it gets. And he just continues to amaze me based on just how much he loves his teammates, how much he loves this game, how much he pours into this. And I think you guys can see it the way that he plays. It's why people love Matthew Stafford, because when you watch him, there's just an energy and there's a charisma and a presence that he plays with, but there's a toughness. There's a grit that I think a lot of people, you could say, man, you can't help but want to root for that guy. And I think we've seen it on display, but the stuff that goes on here day in and day out, and a lot of the work in terms of rehabbing and what he put into this season to try to really elevate this group. And I'm really lucky to have him as our leader, and he's done a great job. And I think what you just continue to learn is that you're lucky to be around people like that. Okay, thanks, guys.
Good. How are you guys doing? Good.
So, can you just give us a little overall of when you found out you'd be playing this week? And
Yeah. Whatever. It's Wednesday now, so it must have been Monday afternoon, and obviously knew there was a chance once we saw what happened Sunday, and sitting on the plane seeing the Steelers pick up the win against Seattle. Everybody's pretty excited after that, you can say. So I thought there was a chance, whether it was starting or just playing some or whatever. But I've been preparing to be ready in whatever capacity I can help this team anyway. So I'm excited for it.
what's it been like playing for this team? You've played for other teams. What has this one been like?
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun. Obviously, it's a different role for me, and it's been new in that regard. But it's been a lot of fun, working with Matthew and seeing kind of how he goes about his business. It's a very young coaching staff, and that's been really fun to be a part of. And it's a very different scheme than what I'm used to. All those things. So for me, it's just been all about learning and just accumulating knowledge within this system, and just being ready to help. So I've enjoyed it.
What are a couple of things that you learned from Coach McVay that have been able to help you be acclimated to this type of offense?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think for me, it's nothing specific from him other than just trying to understand his scheme. What are we trying to do? Who are we trying to attack within different things? It's, as you guys see, it's a lot of moving pieces pre-snap. It's a lot of things to try and put defenders in a bind within their coverages, within their run gaps, all that stuff. So I've just learned a lot about how he wants to manipulate the defense with some pre-snap motions and different things. So it's been fun kind of working with him and really working with all the guys. It's been a lot of fun just kind of understanding kind of how we're trying to attack on each given play.
Carson, I know this may not be at the forefront of your mind this week with all the other things going on, but do you think at all about what Baker Mayfield was able to do late last season and what that could potentially mean for you as far as having an opportunity like this?
Yeah, I mean, I obviously saw what he did, and I saw the year he's having now, and I'm happy for him. But to me, a lot of those things aren't really clouding my ability to go play. For me, it's just go play, have fun, trying to help this team win. And still, I know it's a different circumstance. It's week 18. It's all those things, but my job is still to go out there and try and help this team win and figure all that out later. But I'm enjoying it and excited for it.
It isn't just a situation where they're resting their starters with nothing at stake. There is still maintaining the number 6 seed.
Yep.
Do you like the fact that it's almost? I mean, it's like a playoff. It
Yeah.
is almost like a playoff.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. We'll see kind of how the week goes with all of that on their end as well. But I'm excited for it. I've played a couple times down there in San Fran, and it's a fun environment. It's going to be hopefully a beautiful Sunday afternoon in California. So excited to go get a chance. And yes, there's some still stuff to play for, and there's things at stake. And it's January. I haven't played a game in a long time, so I'm excited for it.
How did your week change in terms of your responsibilities, your role, the types of things that you have to now integrate into it?
Pretty much just this, talking to y'all. No, I mean, it's, it is this, it's some little things, but again, I've been preparing and trying to just, be in there with Matthew as much as I can and learn and grow. So I think, nothing's really dramatically changing other than, taking all the reps out there and practice and the walkthrough and, like I said, talking to y'all.
And this scenario where you're going to start, as opposed to being ready but having to go into a game at a moment's notice. I'm guessing this is the way to do it. You prefer this?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, I think just being on the sideline the last couple of weeks, and obviously in my career I've had a couple games as the backup. It's definitely a different kind of stress. It's a different kind of got to be ready. Last week it was a little chilly up in New York, so it's like I got to stay warm. I got to stay mentally ready. It's all those things, and so to come in on a Monday or Tuesday and be told, okay, you're going to play and start, and within the game plan, it kind of starts to hit your brain differently because it's built for you. It's built for what you do well, and I can already see Coach doing that, and so it's definitely a little less stressful knowing okay, I'm going to go play. I don't have to just wait and see what happens type of thing. So.
Related to that, you've been preparing for 2 months now. You've been here just working out. How's that been different compared to other experiences where you don't have the pressure of Saturday, the pressure of Sunday coming up every week?
Very different. It's very different. But it's been good. It's been good, different, and I've taken a lot of time to kind of just learn and be ready, like you said, and help this team. But also just being around Matthew, a guy that's done it for a long time, and I've had a lot of respect from afar. But now just working with him and seeing his body of work out on the field, and just his demeanor and how he handles his business, he's an impressive guy. He's an impressive guy. Not only, we see all the highlights, we see all the funky arm angles and how he can make all the throws, but just what he does off the field, just in this film room, and just how he sees the game. It's been fun to get to work with him. So I've just been soaking it up, trying to gain as much knowledge as I can and be ready. So it has been a different experience, but I have enjoyed it.
What's it been like working with Zach Robinson, and now that you've gotten a couple months working with him, is there anything you can share about different ways, tactics, techniques in which he and yourself have been able to upload a large offense in a short amount of time?
Yeah. I mean, it started with some Zoom meetings really quick, right when it happened. But working with Coach Robinson has been a lot of fun, getting to know him personally, but then also just all the extra work we get after practice. And I kind of say, I'm sorry, I feel like I'm a pain in his butt because I'm keeping him extra normally because I want to, all the plays Matthew walks through, I want to go through them too with just him. And so he's been awesome. He's been nothing but help. And, all my questions, I've just probably felt like I'm driving him nuts. But it's been fun to get to work with him, and he's an awesome guy. And he definitely understands this game, understands this scheme, and has been an awesome resource for me.
That you just mentioned that you've learned from Matthew. You're your own man still, and you've been a veteran quarterback in this league. Is there something you'll take out of your time with Matthew as you move forward?
Yeah, I mean, there'll be a time, some of that, there'll be a time of reflection kind of after the season. That's kind of part of it. But I think there's just little nuggets here and there, and just how he understands this game and how he sees it, his preparation. For me, like you said, I am a different guy. I've had my own kind of preparation kind of habits and all of those things, but I've never been able to really see somebody else do it in this position. So whatever that looks like after the season, I'll kind of take with a grain of salt and see how it fits with me going forward. But a lot of respect for what he does and how he does it, and it's been fun to work with him.
Carson, how would you describe the culture of the Rams?
It's fun. It's fun. It's high energy. It's very youthful. I think you guys probably see that on game day. I mean, my favorite thing is to watch the back end zone view on the film of after we score a touchdown. It's everybody running on the field. It's O-linemen celebrating. I mean, guys their personalities are coming out, and it's a very youthful experience. Coming in here, and just guys are happy, guys are enjoying it. It's a fun locker room, and obviously winning helps. I mean, there's no denying that. The run that we've been on, so to speak, definitely helps. But I think win or lose, you can just tell guys enjoy being here. They enjoy working together, and it's a fun, young environment.
On the youthful tip, Puka on the verge of doing something special. What are your thoughts on that being on your end of it?
He's a stud. Puka's been a stud. Seeing it from afar, but then coming in here and seeing it up close and personal. He's not only a stud receiver, but when you put the ball in his hand, never would have known he could run like that. He's getting these end arounds, and he's picking up huge plays late in games. When we're just trying to run out the clock in different scenarios. So he's been a lot of fun working with. I don't know if he really knows how good he is. He's still a kid, but I think the sky's the limit for him, and it's cool that he's getting the recognition that he is, and hopefully he can get that record.
Your responsibility to get a record.
We'll do our best. We'll do our best.
You've been very active on the sideline as the backup. Throwing passes, I mean, you're up all the time running.
Yeah.
Not so. Being the starter, will we see that same kind of activity?
Maybe a little bit. I'm not a 22-year-old spring chicken anymore. I'm 31, and I got to find a way to stay fresh and stay warm. And the colder it is, the more you're going to see me moving. So it's one of those things. Just trying to find a way to stay loose and warm. So you might see some of that, but I'm a very active guy and all the things there. So, but yeah, thank you. It was good. All right, happy New Year, guys. Thank you.